live. Hello. Well, I'm live. Peggy's in the washroom. Peggy's announced that she is peeing. That's what's happening. I need to pop out the chat. So I need to, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do. I don't remember my setup. How did I forget? Okay, well, I need to pop it out. That's what I need to do. Pop out the chat. Oh, that's what I do. I usually put the chat here. There we go. I'm figuring my stuff out.
You did stuff.
Yeah, I just...
See, I figured I had some time while you, like, wrecked all the things.
What? How is everybody?
Hi, everybody. I'm going to sit
I got to get us on regular chat and not live chat.
I did the dirt thing and didn't give myself enough time.
Oh, good. I made it before they started. Yes, you did. There's all this chat happening, and I've missed it all. So hopefully you all are behaving yourselves. I did see Dustin tell us that my channel smells like... Dustin said my channel smells like rainbows and unicorns and butterflies or fairies or something.
Well, fairies, yeah.
I pulled over a blanket, and I knew as soon as I put it down on the floor. Can you bring your blanket?
Which one?
You know, your quiltiness. You've only got one good cozy blanket.
Because
hello.
Wants your blanket, and you don't want to take your stuff back from the dog.
I'm playing with the squishy poop.
Want me to bring over the real one?
It smells like Lisa Frank. This blanket works. Thank you. My dog stole my blanket was the punchline. What'd you say?
Yeah, I said you're making me. I came over to sit down. You sent me away because the dog took your blanket and you won't take it back.
You don't want a blanket, do you? Because if you do, you're screwed. Because I'm stealing this one.
It's my blanket. I'll take it back. We'll get drunk.
No.
My God, you're fine today.
I'm not fine. That was last night with my.
Hi, everybody.
There. Oh, that's real
Whoa.
big. I made the chat text.
It's fine. As long as
too big.
Okay.
We can talk about topics.
I'm not in the. I don't know what you've done, but I'm over here.
No, you're not. You're not actually. See, look. See, you're fine.
Okay, I'm fine.
This is just to make sure we don't freeze.
Lisa's playing with the buttons again.
I'm hitting all the buttons.
I don't know why you guys just go. Oh, she started. I have 5 minutes before they settle the fuck down.
That's true, actually, because I go live and then we have to like chit chat and get our blankets and our. Well, you'd think we'd have this all in order. Did you just burp?
I just did.
She's been on my channel for 30 fucking seconds, so she's already burped. I've sworn. So I mean.
I said fuck too.
Just said it again.
Did you ever do this really weird cough thing where you like suck in some air?
Yeah. Yeah. I usually try to hide the burp when I do it.
That was on purpose, just for you.
You have glitter all over your face, and I'm just gonna leave it there. Also, I might get more. Hello, everyone. Just joining. It is. Hold on. Not raining currently. What?
You.
Burp my name, Mom? Don't. No. Do not encourage. No. Don't do it. Don't.
No, I won't. The first one was a weird cough that left a gas bubble, and the second one I managed on purpose just to offend my wife. I love you.
Well, at least nobody's surprised at this point. I figure everybody we would have chased away with your burping, farting nonsense has already gone a long time ago.
No, the people that are left are the ones that like they're sitting around their house burping and farting too, going, yeah.
It's hot on the island today, Barb? Oh, yeah.
It's warming up here. It was nice. It was really cold last night, which was really nice.
I would be more impressed if she could fart my name. Stop it, you guys.
I will work on that, Dustin, just for you.
Hello, Bastet.
Hi, Bastet. We're talking about burping and farting because this is a body positivity day. Fuck them.
That's what Peggy has to say.
Fuck them.
I have so much to say about this topic, clearly. It was so hard to film the video because I was like, how do I say everything I need to say in such a short amount of time? But it's such a vast topic for real, though, you guys.
Well, it's a massive topic because we're like, okay, as much as I comment, blah, blah, blah is affected by the media, by mass marketing, by this, by that. Body weight and self-image is the single most, it is the single most attacked thing in the media, because if you're worried, don't you want to look your best, wear this lipstick. Don't you want to feel your best, go to this gym. Don't you want everybody else to love you? Here's your weight loss plan. It's like, there is nothing about us that somebody isn't trying to tell us that that's wrong, and here's the product that we need to buy in order to fix that.
I will say right off the bat, especially for anybody who's not going to hang around for the entire live chat.
Welcome. There you go. Sorry. I'm sorry. You go right ahead.
It's going to be one of those, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
You better rein your shit in. You better rein it in because I got too much to say for you to be railroading.
Fine.
Okay, so the number one, I mentioned this in the premiere. I mentioned this in the premiere video. You have to control yourself.
I read Barb's comment.
I don't care. Stop talking.
7 minutes and she's drunk already.
Okay. The number one book recommendation is a book called Health at Every Size by Linda Bacon. I believe, this is the book. If you are interested in the topic of body acceptance at all, it is the first book I recommend to everybody who's ever asked me about this topic, because no, you need to settle for a sec. You just calm
keep
down.
Talking, you're fine.
So if you get a chance, pick up that book, read that book, because there's science in it. And Linda Bacon actually did proper studies, and she didn't do studies that were funded by companies that had something to gain by the answer, which I also learned
all that too.
Yeah, and I also learned how prevalent a lot of the stuff we see in media, the studies that support certain popular ideas, are based on studies that were funded by companies that have things to gain, like Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers or Nestle. Or so Health at Every
like Weight Watchers, which is owned by McDonald's.
Yeah, Health at Every Size, Barb, by Linda Bacon, Dr. Linda Bacon. Linda Bacon started the Health at Every Size movement, which is kind of truncated to HAES. So if you Google either Health at Every Size or HAES, you'll find a ton of resources. Sorry, you can go back to being ridiculous now. Simon, not to go on a different tangent, but in my experience, body shaming is intensified within the gay community. It can be extremely shallow and hard to feel accepted. It's in the gay men's community, especially. There is an aesthetic that either you fit this aesthetic or you fit that aesthetic. The bear community began because of the gay hard body aesthetic, but then now I was talking to some people, and it's like now even like you either fit into the bear community or you fit into the hard body, like beautiful man gay community. Gay aesthetic. I'm not saying it right. You either fit in this category or that category, and if you don't, you're kind of screwed. There's a lot of body image stuff within the gay men's community for sure. And I encountered a lot of that when I was working with the bears.
There's a lot of it in you know what it is. There's a lot of it in every community. Yeah. But men in general, and I don't want to stereotype, but men in general tend to be more outspoken about their opinions.
I'm so fidgety
in the gay men's community, they're more likely to say something, or whatever. In the women's community, in women's communities in general, we go, oh yeah, mm-hmm. And then later we go, did you see how much weight she's gained? And so women tend to be more quiet in the background about. Well, it depends on who you are.
It kind of just depends, yeah. I know, I got to put the poop down because I'm being very fidgety. I'm going to fidget with my necklace instead.
I'll get you the other one.
No.
You'd be afraid.
Horrifying. I also think that it's okay. So I'll tell you a couple things. So this is, this factors into the whole society's role. You bought the book? Excellent. Please let me know your thoughts. Every time I've recommended that book, it has literally blown people's worldview wide open, partly because...
Well, she researches every claim that she makes. She researches.
Yeah, and she's done. Yeah,
I don't know if this was her that did it in her book or somebody else that did it in response to her book, because you showed this to me, where basically, okay, if I want to do a study showing that dogs and cats are natural enemies, I can commission a study to study that, and that's exactly what. Basically, when you commission these studies, the people that you're paying I'm paying you. If you come back with an answer I don't like, I'm not going to hire you again.
It's very hard to avoid bias in most research studies, because if you aren't delivering the kind of results that they want. Now, here's something else to think about when we talk about scientific studies.
Research is a hugely paying field.
Well, and also we need to talk about the fact that studies can be, whether intentionally or unintentionally, skewed based on the sample size, based on the control, based on whether they're looking at correlation versus causation, which we need to totally talk about that, because, and I talk, well,
we don't need to get all, well, we do, but anyway.
We do, but feel free to rein me in, because this is
like, whatever we have to say today, there's so much stuff. There's so much material that we could literally do a talk on this every day for weeks.
Curvy Yoga is by Anna Guest Jelly. Barb Girl, she was one of the first curvy, like, larger bodied yoga teachers to step out into the public sphere, and she's done some really beautiful work in that area.
Lisa, any yoga for bigger people that you want to know about, she will probably tell you everything.
And I can tell you about their teaching style too, because
she's studied she's spent hours and hours and hours researching all the things, all the people. The thing is that basically, there are studies that show that fat people tend to live longer. There's that being thin leaves you open to certain diseases, because if like all these different correlations that they find, they don't really correlate the way
you're gonna use words like correlate and causate. We need to quickly define. So correlation is when two things exist in the same place. Causation is this thing causes this thing. What happens in studies is that a lot of times what they're looking at is that they're saying people with this factor also have this factor, and we, the public, read these studies, and we news medias read these studies, and they talk about it as if these things existing together means that this thing caused this thing. So, for example, you could have women over the age of 40 who wear lipstick every day have a higher rate of cancer, because for whatever reason, the samples that they picked of women who wear lipstick versus the samples of women they picked that didn't have wear lipstick every day, who were over the age of 40, happened to have a higher rate of cancer. We know logically that wearing lipstick every day isn't causing cancer.
Okay. They did a study back in the 70s. This is real, and it made
real examples are good.
It made the news. They did a study back in the 70s that Coke causes cancer. Now, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of Coke for a lot of other reasons. They did a study that if you drink Coke, if you drink Coca-Cola, you have a higher than normal chance of getting cancer, and blah, and blah, and blah. You have like a 5% greater risk of getting cancer if you drink Coke. But what they did was they actually went and they studied the study, and they found out that where they got their correlation from was from studies done on mice and rats, and they discovered that in order to have a 5% greater risk of getting cancer, you literally have to drink 2 or 3 gallons of this stuff every day for a minimum of 10 years.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Because when they did the math, they realized basically they were feeding nothing but Coke to mice and rats. Couldn't figure out what. Oh, they got sick. They got cancer because it's like they cannot do the study on humans, because there's a thing that your kidneys do if you have too much fluids in your day. The amount of Coca-Cola that you would have to drink in order to be at risk for cancer would literally shut down your kidneys and kill you that way.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's just any fluid.
Yeah.
It's like, so they completely debunked this study, but the study was commissioned by the Cancer Society because they wanted to prove a correlation. And this study just went out the window because they realized that the researchers were more interested in getting a paycheck than in real. Well, okay, that's a whole secondary thing based on opinions.
Yeah.
How it landed. But
Sandra says, I get criticism for being overweight when I say it's really hard for me to lose weight because of my polycystic ovary system. I just get looks as if to say that's just an excuse. Wait, no. I'm going to respond to this first. One of the things that Health at Every Size, the book that I recommended, one of the things that book does a beautiful job is of talking about a mechanic in the body called a set point. So this is PCOS aside for just a second. Everybody's body is designed to maintain weight. Our bodies don't want us to lose weight. It doesn't matter if we're 150 pounds or 250 pounds or how we got to whatever weight we are, period, and stop. Our body is not designed to lose weight. Our body is designed to protect us from famine, disease, starvation. And so there are mechanics, a lot of mechanics that are explained very easily, and it's really readable in Health at Every Size.
Yeah.
But there are mechanics that are specifically designed to slow your metabolism when you're trying to lose weight so that you won't lose weight.
Well, yeah, because your body goes, oh, you're starving, I better help you.
Yeah, so your body will actually increase your appetite when you're trying to diet. Your body will actually release chemicals and hormones that will increase your appetite.
Store fat more efficiently.
Your body will also slow your metabolism, reduce your energy so that you don't want to move as much because it wants to hold on to the weight it has.
But you know what? But the ultimate reality at the end of the day is fuck them.
Okay, but don't just. My point is still valid. You're right. Fuck them. That's fine. But I'm still saying there's a lot that we don't know or we don't hear about regularly about the way our body works, and where our bodies are not.
We have now taken how our bodies look and injected that into medical science rather than how our bodies function and what's really healthy for us.
There's also yes, absolutely. And there's also a huge piece here about, let me just throw one simple fact out that I didn't say during my video that I really want to at least be said once, which is that it is proven at this point that people that try to lose weight, no matter what you do, whether it's a lifestyle change, whether it's a diet, whether it's Weight Watchers or Jenny Craig or Atkins, it doesn't matter. Any of those things, there is a less than 5% long-term success rate.
Well, that's for a reason.
And nobody talks about that. 95% of people fail. When I was hardcore dieting and believed in it and believed it would work and believed I understood the science and I was good at it, and I had friends that were good at it. My one friend, she and I lost about the same amount of weight at one point. She maintained it for the longest time, but when I tell you it was frightening how low she had to drop her daily caloric intake just to maintain her weight loss over time. She maintained it for about 5 or 6 years, and by the 6th year, I think she was eating something like 1,100 calories a day just to maintain, because your body consistently adjusts because it wants you to gain that weight back and be back to where it sees its normal weight at.
Yeah. But the biggest issue is that if we
sorry, I'm really passionate about this.
No.
And I do get intense, so I'm sorry.
And you're incredibly well, because you took the time to do the research, you're incredibly well informed about the mechanics and the science behind the okay, this is what society tells us to do, and this is what the biology of your body is actually doing. And it's like science is telling us to do this for no other reason than this is what we've decided is healthy. And it's like, we've decided this is healthy because it's trendy to be thin. Whereas when I was a kid, this is I don't know if anybody's going to remember this. Once you get to a certain weight, especially for women, there's a bit of like that orange peel look, the cellulite look around your butt and stuff like that. That was considered attractive.
I actually didn't know that, but that makes sense because our beauty standards are constantly changing.
You're older, you're at a certain age, you're at a certain whatever. It was considered a sign. Being able to hold a little cushion around the middle was considered a sign of health.
Yeah.
Back, and this is like
and to address the comments too, just because I know I have so much to say about this. My body has leveled out at the weight it is now, which is
once you stop dieting.
Which is interesting to me. You know how people say, "Oh, I wish I could be like that girl over there. She can eat whatever she wants. She can not exercise and she's always the same weight." That's literally where I'm at now. And I know that sounds weird because I am in a larger body, but I don't gain any weight. I'm at a place where my body wants to hang out. So the place I am now, I can literally eat whatever I want, whenever I want.
You don't gain.
I don't gain any weight. I mean, we're talking, I stay within a 2 to 5 pound radius, like range.
But you know what? But it doesn't matter.
No, I know it doesn't matter, but I want to make the point.
Okay.
I'm going to bite you. I feel so proud. I know your larger point is super important.
I know. Larger point is fuck them.
And we will get there.
Because my focus has always been a psychological impact. If I decide to go, like, basically, we've got this societal thing, like, like you're out for a walk on the beach and everybody's like, "What are you doing here? You're fat." And it's like, "I'm taking a walk on the beach. Fuck you."
Yeah.
It's like and then they say, "Why aren't you doing more to lose weight?" Well, because if I do and try to take a walk on the beach, idiots like you would say, "Go home, fatty."
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you. I can be fat on the beach, I can be skinny on the beach, and fuck you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the biggest part about the biggest thing. Okay, I have exactly one diet story. I did the thing. Yeah, way back.
Peggy didn't do the 25 bazillion diets like I did.
Dieted for about 5 minutes.
And who's surprised? Not me.
I was like 100. I'm short. I'm only like 5'2". And this was back when the benchmark was if you're they had a chart. And the chart said, if you are this tall, female, blah blah, this is what you should weigh. And it's like, oh, the chart says I should weigh 120. And I was sharing a place with my cousin. She was into dieting at the time. And I was like 20 something. I'm like, okay, let's do this. I was about 130. I dropped down to about 120. And I will tell you that 10 pounds, I felt so fucking sick all the time.
Yeah.
I kept getting, and this only lasted for about 2 or 3 months. It was really easy to lose the weight. It was only 10 pounds.
Yeah.
But the thing that what I realized is like, dude, what I was losing was muscle mass, because for my height and my weight, I carry more muscle than the average woman. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean I'm super skinny.
You bulk up fast.
I bulk up fast.
It's kind of hot.
I'm
like, hey Peggy, lift this weight. Ooh, there's a muscle.
Yeah, the one time, this is okay. So this isn't. I'll tell you the opposite story that happened a few years later. And I'm like, fuck this shit. I gained the weight back, felt great, everything was normal. Then fast forward. So that was my diet experience. It's like I was skinnier, but I didn't feel good. So fuck this shit. Then we fast forward about 15 years later. I'm checking in with the doctor. I did have a surgery on my knee. Checking in with my doctor. The doctor goes, "Oh, well, you weigh this much. Your BMI's come up. You need to lose some weight." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" He's like, well, yeah, blah, blah, blah. If you lose some weight, it'll be better for your knee. So basically, at that point in time, I didn't drive. I was riding a bicycle everywhere I went. So basically, and I had just been riding a bike. So if you've heard of the term pumping up, if you work your muscles, they stay really
bulky. Yeah.
I flexed the muscles in my leg and I said, you really want me to lose that? He's going, oh. And that was the end of the conversation because he realized that my weight was whatever, but most of my weight at the time I was carrying in muscle mass. Well, not okay.
Which actually supported your knee.
I wasn't super buff. I've always had the layer of fat. I don't really give a fuck about that, right?
Yes, Elle.
Yeah.
BMI can go suck my fat rolls.
He realized
BMI is such bullshit.
As soon as I said, dude, like I ride a bike everywhere I go. I've got quite a bit of muscle mass for a woman. He's going, yeah, but you know, and then I flexed and he went, oh, and that was the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
Because it was like, dude, this muscle mass is the reason why I can fucking walk.
Now, I will say, you guys, I managed to encounter...
BMI is completely debunked. It's stupid.
I've actually encountered quite a bit of people that
You're 6'5", Dustin? Wow.
You gotta let me talk, baby.
Nah, you're fine.
Okay. I've actually encountered quite a bit of people because I do so much and have done so much work in this particular area. I've encountered a lot of people, and there's a lot of stuff that is changing right now in the nutrition field, in the medical field. Here's the thing to keep in mind.
Oh, my boobs weigh a ton.
It's okay. I'm going to be a little intense about making certain points. You're going to have to just
I know. You're having one of those days. It's fine.
Basically, things are changing as far as how the medical community and the scientific community understands the relation between weight and health. However, yeah, I'm getting warm.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so you're good. Okay, so here's the thing. You're fine. It's fine. It's all good. We've also got other mods in the room.
You're fine. It's okay. Just keep talking. You don't have to pay attention to what I'm doing.
I know I'm a squirrel. Okay, so things are changing in the medical community. However, it's really important to point out that most doctors we see today, they took their initial schooling decades ago. And unless you're seeing a very fresh, new out of medical school doctor or nutritionist or whatnot, the schooling they received is so far behind. And you have to remember that even their schooling is behind because by the time medical textbooks get updated, we're talking that's a multiple year process. And then those students don't get it. So there's this really slow moving medical knowledge. And if it's not an area of specialized study for a particular doctor, they're not going to even know some of the newest research because they might be researching something else. This is a very long-winded way to say, don't assume that everybody you speak to has a degree, has the most current information.
Well, most of them don't
necessarily.
Most of them don't. But the thing is, what they do have is they go home at the end of the day and they watch TV and they see all the commercials about how being thin makes you happier and healthier. And it's like, that is the biggest load of crap.
Yeah, that's terrible, Simon. Sorry.
No, yes.
I know I'm very
that, and that's crappy.
I get very, and Sandra, you made some really good points about your experiences too.
Oh yeah, my doctor recently said, oh, your BMI is pretty high, you're this. And I'm like, I don't fucking care. I can walk.
Can we talk about the fact though that people feeling like they're allowed to make comments on your weight, good or bad, is something that needs to end and die a horrible, horrible raging death. Like even the best meaning people will be like, oh, you look like you've lost weight. Well, my response is like
this is what we're socially conditioned to do.
Yeah.
And this was never part of our social conditioning until people had shit to sell us.
Yeah.
People have shit to sell us. I will tell you right now, if you turn off the TV, except for this, because you want to watch us every week, because fuck them.
Yeah, don't turn us off.
No, it's fucking crazy. We have all of this social conditioning that we must fit into certain size ranges, certain this and certain that, and that we shouldn't feel better about. Oh, don't you want to feel better? Lose some weight today. It's like, I feel better just the fucking way I am. Fuck them. If I decide to lose weight for any reason, it's because that's what I've decided to do for whatever reason. I don't need a reason to gain weight. I don't need a reason to lose weight. I don't need to attach my happiness to it.
Can we also talk about the messaging that we receive that if we're unsuccessful at losing weight, we lack willpower?
We lack willpower, but if we're unsuccessful at Go ahead. I know you're having a day.
If we're unsuccessful at losing weight, we lack willpower, but that's not real science. Okay, that's what I wanted to say.
Well, I was going to say we are judged as people based on our willingness and our success at losing weight.
Yeah.
Period. And the reality is,
yes, Heather.
The reality is that I would rather deal with the fat, happy person who's happy with who they are and has no, it's like, whatever, I'm a happy person, fuck you, than that little itty bitty neurotic person who is not itty bitty because okay, there's some people who are naturally thin. There's some people who are naturally big. That's just the way nature made you, and that's just fine, and it's fine. Fuck you. But this
Fuck
guy,
you. Fuck them.
If I am sitting in an environment and
how many shots we in now?
Oh yeah, just fuck them all. If I'm in an environment and I've got blah 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 blah, oh yeah, I'm going to be going to the gym later. It's like I lose all respect. It's like if the only way you can feel good about yourself is to make your body look a certain way, what do you have going on in the personality department? It really makes me question.
But you know what? We're all facing the same constant messaging that this is how we're supposed to feel.
No,
so you can't go like you have no personality, because it's like that person is just drinking the same Kool-Aid we've all been drinking.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing. Like are you doing this because this is what you enjoy doing? I knew muscleheads growing up who they did weights for fun, and it's what they like to do. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But if it's like if you have these obsessed gym bunny personalities, it's like,
or you'd be so much prettier if
it's like, dude, I'm fine the way I am, and I don't get. It's like basic. You know what? Let me tell you this, and this is a big fucking moment. I don't give a shit if other people think I'm pretty. I don't give a shit if other people think I'm fat. I don't give a shit what other people think about me, because they're not the people I'm married to. It's like this happened the one day.
No, she's saying I'm having, sorry, real quick. Okay, she's saying I'm having a day because this is a topic I feel really intensely about.
Lisa's very intense about this particular topic. But
so I kind of warned her. I'm like, you have to let me talk.
Oh yeah. We all know how I start mouthing off in these videos. It's like, if I ask you to stop, you need to stop, because I'm having. It's a
topic I feel so passionately about, because I spend
but you
so
have
much
a pretty
time.
Face. It's like, dude, I'm pretty all over. Fuck you. So what if I'm fat? Fuck you.
Yeah, like I feel passionate about it because.
And the funny thing is that nobody ever tries to bullshit me about blah 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 fat, because I know I'm going to say fuck you. It's a much better time with less drama when they know it right up front.
So clueless.
I'm not being clueless. I'm being an asshole. Fuck them.
No,
I'm trying to get Barb drunk. That's it. Go ahead.
You just go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead. I know.
It's a hard thing because there's so many things. There's so many layers to this. We are all struggling. And one thing Peggy and I are talking about this from the position and the perspective of larger body. But there are a bazillion things you could be having this exact same issue over, and it all stems from the same cultural pressure to fit a certain norm. It could be height. I will never forget, and I've probably told the story before, but I'll tell it again. I did a public speaking thing on loving your body and my journey and how I got where I'm at. And a woman came up to me after, just in tears, who was very tall. And she said it meant so much to her because I talked about how larger bodied people often try to squish ourselves into smaller spaces. We try to squeeze ourselves smaller in movie theaters, and we try to do it in conferences. And she basically said, just you saying that you're allowed to take up space was so powerful, because she's like, I've been trying to scrunch myself my whole life because I feel overly tall, and her daughter is also tall. And so it doesn't have to be about weight. It could be that you feel too small. It could be that you feel too weak, or that you don't have enough muscles, or your boobs are too big or too small, or your hips are too big or too small.
Well, this is exactly what I was talking about. You cannot turn on the TV. Every single woman on TV, every single female.
Heather's point is super valid.
Fucking is a great advice if you're already in a place where you can say fuck it, but you have to get there first.
It's
and that is true.
And you actually, I'm gonna say something. I don't want to sound crappy, but to some degree, you've been saying that long enough that it's a little bit. It's kind of like you lack the beginner's mind to remember for some of us.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I'm totally. We're not okay.
I blew up your phone. Have you ever been to the No Lose conference? I haven't, Corbin, although I'm aware of it. I have spoken at a Body Love Summit and a Love Your Body conference before. The thing is, there's so much here.
Here's the thing. When I met you, I was already well past. I was like, yeah, fuck you. Like, I'm short, I'm fat, I've had 2 kids, I've got stretch marks, I got a bad knee. Just fuck you all. I'm just gonna live my life. And there's things going on. There's things going on in my life. Like, I mean, I was once told by a doctor, oh, if you're not careful, you'll be in a wheelchair by the time you're 40. Oh, blah, 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 your weight. Yeah, fuck you. I'm not in a wheelchair. So,
but I do want to bring you in a little bit, because we need to talk
about. But I don't have it. I'm long past the beginner mindset.
Yeah, so I need to talk about.
You were still the beginner. You were still.
I want to talk about how to meet yourself where you are a little bit here, because we're talking a lot about, oh, fuck them, don't give a shit what other people think, but it's really hard. It's hard to get there. And yes, Kay, I just see Lisa question mark. Here's the thing about trying to get there. the first and most important step is to recognize that it's not something it's not for Peggy. She's at the point where it's like a switch. She can just kind of flip on and be like, fuck those people.
Oh,
But for me and for most
about
people, I think it's a practice. It's something you wake up every single day and you say to yourself, today, I'm not going to let myself live my life according to other people's expectations. Today, I'm going to embrace my life as it is. Today, I'm going to embrace my body. Today, I'm going to eat what I want when I want. Today, I'm not going to restrict. Today, I'm not going to obsess about my weight. And then the next morning, when you're having a shitty day, you do it all over again.
Well, you start off in the morning going, what am I going to do to be healthy? And it's okay. Like, okay, our son, John does jujitsu. He was working out for a while. It's what he enjoys. It's perfectly normal for him, but he doesn't judge anybody else. But we've gone into this mindset. I'm not really sure quite how to express it because it's a minefield. It is a literal minefield of being able to express it well too. And I'm no longer in the beginner camp of we wake up every morning surrounding ourselves with all of these layers and layers and layers of self-image, self-doubt, just all this self-deprecation in all the wrong ways that's going on, trying to figure out what we're going to do to have a good day today based on what I'm going to eat a healthy breakfast. I'm going to take the stairs.
What I'm saying is completely different.
We're overly focused.
We're overly
focused on these things.
But you're kind of derailing my point. Yeah, we are focused on that. But what I'm saying is, if you want to tangibly take a body acceptance path, you're making a conscious choice to continue to make a conscious choice every day. It's not like I'm in this now 11, 12 years, and I don't wake up. I still have days where I wonder. I have self-doubt, or I'm like, oh, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do that. Yeah. And I have to consistently and consciously make the decision that that's not the path I walk anymore. And I'll tell you too, that when you first jump into body acceptance or health at every size, you can fall into a trap of wanting to make new rules for yourself. Like, okay, I'm going to step away from the diet rules, but I still need some structure. So I'm going to step into these rules over here. The hardest thing,
the fucking puddles.
Yeah, the hardest thing is to drop the rules, is to drop the rules and to go. Because what we lack as a society is body trust. We're not taught from a young age that our bodies actually will speak up when we need something, that our bodies will signal us when it's time to do stuff. The first thing I get from people when I tell them to try to eat whatever they want, whenever they want, is, oh my God, I'll gain like 1,000 pounds.
Oh, people literally, Pepper Jackie, she's, it's hard. And we went through that. Hard to find people who don't talk about their diets and what they want to do to be healthier.
It's funny actually, because I filter my social media and stuff through, if people talk about dieting too much, I literally unfollow and unfriend them. Not because I don't like them as people, but because I cultivate a body positive social media. And so I have to step away from, not watch, not engage with content that promotes a diet culture, because for me, that's a very unhealthy thing. But what's interesting is then I go out into the real world. I remember I ran into a coworker and we got together, and she was like, literally the entire time she was with us, she was talking about her diet, how much weight she had lost. And I remember just feeling horrified and shocked, not because that was unusual, but because I forgot how common it was and how normal it was, because I filter my social media so carefully.
Well, but we also don't do we don't go to either extreme.
Yeah, you're going to have days that don't, Time Nexus just said stretch marks and signs of real bodies are sexy. It took a lot of time for me to be happy with my body, but some days you do still feel less good. This is what I mean.
But
it's not something where you just, once you get it forever, and it's never work. It's going to still be work.
Yeah. Well, if my knee's getting a little creak, I'm kind of in this weird spot. As long as like not too long ago, I forget what was going on. And it's like my knees started getting it started feeling unstable, and I know when to pay attention to that. And it's like, oh, I need to get out walking more. I haven't been as active lately.
Yeah, I mentioned that in the video, actually.
I need to strengthen up my knee a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't connect that to whether or not I need, but I do, but I don't connect it to my weight. But if I've had my weight's been stable for years and years and years, but it's like, okay, well, I need to get out and walk a little bit more, and I'll take a few days off the junk while I'm at it.
That stuff is normal.
That's normal. And then, and for me, there's a tangible action reaction, because I need to build up a little muscle around it.
We have conversations.
But that's not the same as I feel like I'm a bad person because I'm overweight. And it's like,
Thank you, Heather. Heather said, Kay said, we need to remember there are other reasons people have self-image issues. One is being scars.
But and the problem is getting over it as an issue.
Well, no, I'm going to totally argue with you. It's not getting over it. It's developing a relationship with it, whether it's
Yes,
whether
that's
it's
I'm using bad language, but that's what I
that's
mean.
what you meant.
Yeah.
So here's the thing with scars, for example. Scars can be powerful, magical roadmaps to your experiences in life, good and bad, and you're surviving, you're thriving in spite of experience. Scars can definitely lead to negative self-image. Some of us have very visible scars that we can't comfortably hide, nor should we feel like we need to. But society, we see airbrushed bodies.
Oh
We're
my
not
God,
even talking just weight and size and shape, but we see bodies that have had necks elongated and boobs enlarged and skin airbrushed to be perfect. We all have freaking acne. I have like body hair. Like we all have things that we don't see represented.
I don't live an airbrushed life.
That's right.
And the thing is that I can feel if I have a really bad day, I do have a cane that I use when I'm having a really bad day because I get limpy and unstable, whatever, right? And if I'm having a bad day and I'm using my cane and somebody says, oh, blah, 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 it would help if you lost some weight, I just ignore them and move on. It's like, it's none of your fucking business, for starters. And I don't owe any as much, even if I personally, oh, I'm having a bad day, maybe I need to think about getting some exercise, build up some muscles, whatever I've got going on inside, I don't need to fucking apologize to you for it. And this is something that we get because somebody will say, oh, you look like you've gained a few pounds. And suddenly we're apologizing. Oh, yeah, but, I'm really trying hard to do this. I'm starting a new diet this week. Oh, thanks for mentioning, yeah. And we're apologizing. Oh, I've got this. I've got that. Here's what I'm doing about it. And so we're apologizing for living. We're apologizing for who we are, how we look, and telling everybody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're letting this.
I have a few things I want to say. So I want to, and you guys are being amazing. The chat is going really fast, but I want to talk about a few things. Stretch marks. Heather commented on stretch marks, and because she's never been pregnant. I have stretch marks from when I've rapidly gained and lost weight. Our son has stretch marks because of just growing rapidly. Like you can shoot up and actually get stretch marks lengthwise because your body has
a lot of men, and I mean a lot of men, especially taller men, have stretch marks from growth spurts.
That's right, because your body just goes.
Steven does.
Whatever.
John even has some.
There's a few things. Yeah.
John has a few on his back.
There's a few things I want to address that came up in the comments. One is we talked about whether, people don't necessarily have systemic oppression based on scars, whereas fat people do. When it comes to a beauty aesthetic, there is definitely the privilege of beauty. When you fit a societal stereotype, whether it's weight, skin, appearance, hair, femininity, masculinity, when you fit a particular stereotype of beauty that is currently socially acceptable and desired, you do have a certain amount of privilege when it comes to things like raises, jobs, money. That's true regardless of size. I do think that kind of oppression does happen even if you've got a visible big scar on your face, as an example, you're going to be treated differently than someone who doesn't. So I'm not comfortable saying that doesn't happen. I also wanted to say but
you don't owe anybody an apology or an explanation.
No.
Period.
Exactly. And the other thing that Time Nexus said, which I think is really powerful and is something that I have used a lot in my body acceptance journey, is the sort of fake it till you make it idea, the change your actions to change your thinking. One of the conscious things I did, and this was so powerful and so effective, was I stopped looking down. This sounds so small and simple, and it is related to self-worth and body image and a lot of things. But I used to go through the world literally looking away from people, looking down, because I felt like I wanted to be more invisible and I wanted to hide myself. This is another reason why I always wore dark colors, blacks, earth tones. I wanted to blend. I didn't want to be noticed. And then when I consciously made a decision to literally lift my chin and start looking straight ahead at the world when I would walk in public places and stuff, it dramatically changed my confidence.
Absolutely.
Dramatically. Because I was like, now I look the world in the face.
Let them look down.
Yeah. Okay, let them look down. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that's really good advice. To pretend you're confident until you feel more confident does actually work. It does actually work. And you are right, Corbin. Yeah, you are right about that.
I mean, it works.
There is differences. I just
everybody has, it works differently for different people.
Yeah.
The thing is,
hi, Strawberry. We're having a very passionate discussion about body image.
saying fuck them a lot.
Yeah.
So that tells you where the body image thing. Here's the thing, is that if every single person, okay, here's a really good example. And if I word this badly, just keep in mind that I'm not referring in any negative way to any minority groups. In a lot of we have a really high Chinese population here. And so among the first generation immigrants, the older people, you see a wide range of body shapes and body sizes. And like, these are our neighbors. These are people that we've become very friendly with. These are people that I've worked with over the years and blah, 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 blah. And they view the whole thing completely differently than our culture does.
Western culture is very unique in the way that it deifies almost certain body types.
Yeah. Like if so the thing, and I'm not quite sure how to express this, because like I said, I want to be very careful because I want to be respectful here. But the thing is that they don't, if somebody's got a scar, that's just Jim. If somebody's a little overweight, that's just Amy. They may or may not have opinions. And like I said, this is general Asian culture in general. They do not judge a person for who they are. They may say, I noticed you've gained a little bit of weight. Are you planning on?
But it's a neutral. It's not.
It's very
loaded,
neutral because they do not make that translation that says my opinion. They do not make any sort of a connection between whatever's going on with you physically has nothing to do with how they view you as a person, as your intelligence, as your personality, and they completely separate it. And body shame and body images are not nearly as I'm not going to talk about the younger ones. And it's a really interesting comparison when you're talking to.
It's interesting, but I also want to address something in the comments. I'm getting excited. But yeah, that is a valid point. But I want to move.
It's something worth marinating on. It's like,
Yep, it's good. You made your point. I'm sorry.
I'm done now. Am I?
You totally are. I've decided.
Go ahead.
Heather said something and I got really excited because this was actually, she mentions a TED Talk about how we hold our bodies in confidence. We can convince our brains we're confident by how we stand. That TED Talk was one of the things that inspired me to change. If I remember correctly, it could have been a different one, but there was a TED Talk that I actually have shown during teacher trainings. Thank you. There's a TED Talk that they basically studied people in different postures and how they performed in interviews and how they were received based on what they did for like I think it was like a 5-minute posture. So they would have some people stand in like a confident, spread-legged superwoman posture for 5 minutes before going in. And then they would have some people like slouch and be like really like slumpy before they would go into like this interview as part of the study. And it was measurable, the difference in confidence they felt just based on how they
were treated.
Yes, just based on how they physically held their body in private before the interview. Yes. So thank you for linking that TED Talk. It's really, really good. And this is the thing. We actually have certain things that chemically happen in our body based on how we stand, how we hold ourselves. These are all, there's so many, and there's some really good TED Talks on these sort of topics, by the way. There's actually a pairing. I'm going to tell that story about the 2 different TED Talks. Because you'll know where I'm going. But I used to show this when I did.
You should link them both. Well,
I will. I'll put them in the description box after. Basically, when I was, because I kind of created my own approach to yoga that I called body positivity yoga. And when I was training teachers in that method, one of the sections I did on size stigma and how this happens for people was I showed 2 different TED Talks. They both covered basically the same.
They were almost word for word. There was, it was almost like they did it on purpose, just to.
They were done at totally separate times. So one TED Talk was by a person with a degree of some kind, like a scientific degree, medical degree. I'm not sure which. And she was a fairly height, weight, proportionate person, and she gave a talk on a study that was basically done where, and I talk about this in my video, actually, we just watched, but there are 4 healthy habits that positively impact the body regardless of size and weight. She did a TED Talk. It had a bunch of views. The comments were amazing. They were really respectful. And then somebody from the fat positive community made a similar.
She also had credentials, did she not?
I don't know that she had credentials, but I do think that's partly irrelevant.
She was a doctor.
No, she wasn't a doctor for sure. I know that. Okay. I know who it was. So there was a woman of size who made a similar TED Talk. It wasn't like on the TED platform. It was like a TEDx or something.
But she was citing the same sources.
But it
was very similar.
Very similar information, and it is on YouTube. The comments are disabled because they got so vile because she was a woman of size.
She was bigger. She was
talking about the protective element of fat when you get older and all these kinds of things that are facts. But she presented similar facts as this other woman, And to see the difference in how that information was received between the two,
yeah, it was basically
really
because she
telling.
she was a big girl, so therefore it was like, go on a diet, you're horrible, you're this. The comments were
Nobody
vile.
took the information seriously, but when it was presented by somebody who had the aesthetic appearance that we accept as healthy, yeah, it made a big difference.
It made a big difference. But no, I mean, honestly, the biggest thing is to learn how to say fuck them, because if you want to go for a walk, go for a walk. I mean, anybody, if you're out doing something, just living your life, and somebody has the nerve to tell you that you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too this, you're too that, the answer should always be, and we should be in a society where that's the accepted norm of fuck you.
Yeah.
Because whenever you look whenever you look into any community where a person's physical appearance is not used as a marker to decide who they are as a person, you have a completely different level of just everything about how a person presents themselves, how they feel about themselves, how they look, how they behave, everything.
Yeah, it's completely
different. And yet we're completely surrounded with wear this makeup, do this diet plan, join this gym, engage in these activities, go here on a vacation, don't forget your beach. It's not don't forget your beach. It's not don't forget your beach clothes. It's don't forget your beach body.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no such thing as a beach body. If you're at the beach, you're a body at the beach. Fuck them.
Yep, that's right. I feel like I'm missing so much in the comments, but you guys are making some really good points.
It's like there's a bunch of links, so we should.
When in doubt, just say fuck them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But if you're having
it's hard to do, and I get it, because you know what? When you're saying fuck them, you're standing there all by yourself saying fuck them. I'm not. If I could stand there and hold your hand, I'd say it for you. Fuck them. Fuck you. Like I'd do it.
You would.
I would, but whenever you're in those situations, you're usually alone, and that is intimidating as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing. Okay, here's.
Yes. Use this cream. Look 10 years younger than you are.
Yeah.
It's honestly next time you're at the grocery store, look at one of the magazines. You're gonna see diet plans. You're gonna see exercise plans. This is an interesting thing. You'll see diet, exercise, makeup, all this different things to look and feel your best. And then somewhere near the back, you'll find a recipe for a fucking chocolate cake.
Every single time.
Every single time.
You have something on your face.
It's not glitter.
You are totally.
I know.
I talk very much.
It's because I love you.
No, it's because you.
I know. Okay, there we go. I get wound up too.
I know.
I love saying fuck them. It's great.
Sorry. Apparently, I groomed Peggy on camera. Sorry, you're welcome.
No, I had a little. She got something with sparkles in it like yesterday, and now they're all over the house and they're getting on us, and it's gross.
Here's the thing. I think.
Just say fuck them.
But you know what? That is to some degree that can be minimizing to some people, because for some people, getting to that point is not. It's not as easy as that, and you can't just say fuck them and it solves your problems, because it really doesn't. For a lot of us, the work required is to actually build a relationship with your body, to actually get to a point where you can behind the scenes, regardless of what other people think, build a working relationship with your body. That's the most important part of the work. Whether other people accept you or not is irrelevant if you can't accept yourself.
I think what you have to do is like pause. Remind yourself, my body is not your business. This is your fucking problem.
But what about your business? This is where I'm kind of trying to steer the conversation to.
Okay, but this is the thing. It's like anything that I do or don't decide to do because I feel it might be beneficial to my health and well-being is my decision.
Right.
So it's like if I say to you, hey honey, I'm interested in losing some weight, so let's go buy some vegetables. That's fine. We're a married couple, and that changes the conversation right there anyway. But when it comes to this sort of stuff, the very first thing that you should always try to remind yourself of, even if you're only saying it quietly to yourself, my body isn't your business.
But it is your business.
It's my business. And I don't have to feel guilt. I don't, regardless of, I don't have to feel this way. I don't have to feel guilt. I don't have to feel shame. I just have to feel like, okay, like I said, if my knee's a little unstable and I decide that I need to get out, do a little more walking and strengthen it up, that's my business. I shouldn't have to feel guilty or ashamed that it became unstable. I shouldn't have to feel guilty or shamed if I'm having a day that I'm not doing quite what I thought I was going to do to fix it. And this is a tangible issue that I have.
Okay, but here's the thing. This is super, super valid. At the same time, I want to talk about, take everybody else out of the equation for a minute. just for a minute. Nobody else exists. Nobody's ever made a negative comment to you about your weight. Nobody's ever made you feel bad about your weight or your size or your shape or whatever, but you still feel bad about your weight. And this is, or your size or your shape or your scars or your stretch marks. But this is a part of the discussion that we keep kind of skipping over to talk about fuck everybody else. I get that. But for me, the biggest part and the hardest part of the journey was me getting okay with how I looked.
But I think a lot of how you, basically, when you are just living your life being you and not marinating in this idea of what a perfect person should look like, that you should always be trying to make yourself look better. The idea of self-improvement is something that, yeah, the concept of self-improvement is a never-ending process, but we've also applied it to the physical. So therefore, if you can improve yourself in this way, why aren't you improving your body, your looks, your this, your that? When you separate the two, you just go, okay, if people who live in environments where body image, body size, body appearance are not an issue that ever gets brought up, they don't have most of the issues that we have. You're
right that there's a causative effect of other people, but we're kind of not having the conversation about how do you work on this. If everybody in your life's super supportive, how do you get okay with your body regardless? Yes, I get that there's a causative issue.
You're way less likely to have those issues,
which is fine. But let's assume that you've already dealt with that. Let's assume you're already okay with how everybody else thinks about you, but you're still struggling to accept yourself. That's what I'm trying to bring up. So for me, what I found helpful is once I started to get okay with how other people felt about me, the way I got to working on it in my own self and kind of building that relationship with my body to be more accepting myself was to start doing practices that put me in touch with my body, whether it was mirror work, getting comfortable looking at myself in a mirror, whether it was experimenting with wearing colors so that I didn't try to hide my body, whether it was literally touching and exposing parts of my body that I used to feel self-conscious about. There's a practice here that I wanted to just bring up about active things you can do to start to build that relationship with yourself, to start to get more comfortable with yourself aside from everybody else. See, like you're gonna see, just F them is a good general blanket approach, but we still are tasked with sorting out the subtle nuanced details until we are personally satisfied.
Yes,
and that's what I was trying to bring up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What I'm pointing out is that if you don't have external societal pressure, people who live their lives without external societal pressure tend not to have this as an issue to begin with. That is a generalization that doesn't really exist in the
that's what I was saying.
That's
okay. Because you were bringing up causative stuff, and I'm like, yes, now we're all in this boat. Let's assume for a second we're all in this boat. At the end of the day, it doesn't even matter how we got there. It does matter, and it's valid.
An asshole. I missed it.
It's valid to we miss a lot.
Assholes should be ignored.
Exactly. It's validating to know this is why this problem exists, but we still have, it's like what you said, it's not your fault, but it is your problem. At the end of the day, how are we going to do it? How are we going to handle?
Can we clarify though, just to make sure that the specifics are anything to do with your weight or your appearance or whatever? That's also not your fault, not your problem. That's not your fault.
Not your fault is your problem? Not your fault, not your problem. What are you trying to say?
Well, it's not your fault, but it is your problem. Can make it sound like you're talking about the problem of your weight. And just to clarify that,
what I'm saying is that
about yourself.
I'm talking about you might have a poor self-image or have a difficult time.
This is a chat that we're going to have to do again because you cannot cover this in one.
Yeah, you might have a difficult time with body acceptance because XYZ has happened. But at the end of the day, regardless of how you got there, you still have that trouble. You still have this issue with your body acceptance if you want to improve that you need to address. So all I'm saying is great to talk about how we got here. Great to talk.
Once you've reached that point where that's where you are, now you have to unpack it.
And that's what I'm trying to.
Because I never got to that point.
Right, but you're not letting me get to that point.
You're fine. I know. You're fine. Just go on.
I'm trying to bring us.
I'm trying.
I want to talk for just a minute about some strategies that we can share with each other about what do we do now. Okay, so we can identify that we have this struggle with body image. Now, what do we do? And you can cultivate your environment. You
have to wait.
Shayla, no, it's all done.
It's all done.
You can cultivate your environment. You can control your social media. You can surround yourself with body positive people. You can create a bubble for yourself within a certain environment so that you always have positive messages surrounding you except when you leave the house. You can do all of those things, but you still need to do the work all on your own time in private to get to know your body. And that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about in the video that premiered.
It's not time.
You might have to treat her or pet her.
Do you want a treat? Do you want to go outside? Okay. Apparently I'm taking them outside because she's not cooking.
Sorry guys, I know I get all
You are
intense and
fine.
worked up.
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
I feel like I have so much to say, and and Peggy's right. You can't cram such a huge topic into such a small amount of time.
We don't have to stop. She's just probably
Peggy's gonna run the doggies outside. I know I get so impatient because I'm like, oh, I have 8,000 things I want to say, and Peggy's fine. She's making excellent points, and I'm kind of being a jerk because I'm like, don't talk. I want to talk. I'm a jerk, but
no, I don't have. I bypassed a lot of that.
And I think that's it, right?
Stage 20 years ago.
Like, I love that I have Peggy in my life because of her ability to go fuck them. Like, I love that. I keep saying fuck them all fancy like, but to say fuck them, I love that because that helps so much to have somebody in my life who's constantly like, you don't have to give a shit what other people think. And a lot of us don't have a person like that who can remind us all the time that we don't have to give a crap. And that has helped me so, so much. But at the same time, I kind of look at where she's at and how she got where she's at. And I'm like, but you don't really know because you haven't been down in the mud trying to like a body that you've spent your whole life hating. And I just really want to validate people who are on this path to say it's so, so hard. Yeah, exactly, Simon. It's like we both have so many things to say, but we come at it from two very different sets of life experience. And a lot of us, I just kind of want to be the voice talking to the people that have had life experiences like me. If you've always hated your body, literally the turning point for me was in yoga. I was laying on my back doing a shavasana, which is like the final resting pose. And I had my hand on my belly because that's what the DVD said I was supposed to do. And I don't normally touch, at that time in my life, I didn't ever touch my belly, ever. It was a part of my body I completely avoided. And so I had my hand on my belly because that's what I was supposed to do, because that's what the video said. And I was like feeling the rise and fall of my breath in my belly. And I'd done this video 100, 200 times before that. And never had this experience. But I had my hand on my belly and I was feeling my breath. And for like a split second, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I was like, oh, this feels so good. And it was the first time in my entire life that I had touched my belly and felt like my belly felt good. I don't know how else to describe that. It was a part of my body that I was self-conscious about, and just touching it and feeling my breath move in it was the most magical experience I'd ever had. And I was like, oh my God, I don't have to hate my body. And I think it's a very different experience when you've always actively hated your body, to try to go from that place to a place where you accept your body. And I now consider where I'm at to be a place where I really genuinely love my body most days. But to go from hating it, actively hating it, to loving it, and that whole journey in between is such an intense process, and it requires so much commitment to seeing that happen. Yeah, totally, Amethyst, feeling your life flow through it. And I was like, it's soft and it's squishy and I love it. And I've never had that experience before. And Peggy has come from a place of sort of body neutrality. She never, from everything she's told me, she hasn't ever hated her body. I should ask her when she gets back. She's never hated her body. She's been neutral about her body and then learned to be like, fuck everybody else. I can be what I want, which is great. But a lot of us actively hate our bodies. We actively struggle. There's parts of our bodies we can't stand looking at. There's parts of our bodies we don't want to touch. We don't want anybody to see. I used to sleep with my partners with clothes on and the lights off. That's probably an overshare. Now, not so much. But I mean, like, there's so many ways that this gets in. I'm talking with my hands because I feel so strongly about all this. But there's so many ways that this gets into, it's so insidious. It's literally avoiding looking at yourself in dressing room mirrors. It's literally not liking trying on clothes. My mom used to buy clothes, take them home and try them on at home because she was too self-conscious to try them on at the store. And then she'd just return what didn't work and whatever sometimes. I learned how to hate my body from my mom. And, you know, we don't think about things like, about how we can and this is something else actually, if you're a nurturing person, if you're a person that likes to caretake and be sweet to other people, if that's something that drives you, then here's some food for thought that can help get motivated to be more body loving. Is think of how you can help other people when you model body positive behavior, when you don't say things like, I shouldn't have that donut, but I'm going to have it. Just, you know, I'm going to treat myself. When we catch ourselves with the insidious language of sort of how we talk about ourselves, we can actually model it for other people. And I'm so behind on comments. I'm going to check now. But yeah,
Come on.
I have a question for you because I made an assumption and I want to know what you think. Have
I'm
you?
amazing. What else do you
You
know?
are amazing. Have you ever had a point in your life when you actively hated your body?
No.
Yeah. Okay, good. I didn't
The
assume wrong.
closest, okay, I have the closest I ever came is, I don't know if you remember when I not hated my body. When I was going through menopause, because I didn't take any hormones or anything like that. Okay, this is a TMI for the guys. Plug your ears. I would bloat. Remember, I was going
Guys
up and
can
down.
deal with the bloating talk.
Okay,
If they can't, fuck 'em.
basically, when you have menopause, your periods get all screwed up.
Yeah.
And I would literally bloat 2 to 3 pant sizes every month.
And then you go back down.
But that was, but that's that.
You were self-conscious
Okay.
a little bit, but
I was self-conscious because I felt bloated all the time.
but did you hate your body?
No,
Yeah.
I was not happy about it. For all the ladies who know what they're talking about, when you bloated comes with certain physical sensations of just generalized discomfort.
Yeah.
So that was uncomfortable, and I
Yeah.
hated the process
And the experience.
because every now and again, because of menopause, I would do this and I would stay bloated for like 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, it was pretty.
I had
pretty
a few of
intense.
those,
It was
but
pretty intense.
so it kind of gives you a reason to think about things. It's like, oh shit, what should I do? Like,
Yeah.
but no, I mean, I had these strange experiences that kind of.
She's walked the doggies and still wandering around. You need
I
to.
have to pee.
Peggy's off to the bathroom again. Peggy
I gotta
has a
put my-
bladder that's like this big. I've missed so much, but I just want to thank everybody in the comments as usual for being awesome and holding space for each other and validating each other, because I'm seeing a ton of that in the comments and that is amazing. And I'm so soapboxy that I'm missing a lot of the interaction, but you guys, I feel so strongly about this stuff because one of the things I feel like, even in now that we're starting to see terms like body acceptance and body positivity and body love being used by major brands and major companies, they're starting to advertise to us on these things. We're starting to see magazine articles coming out about body love and all this kind of stuff. And I think that's great. But I also think that it's oversimplified a lot. And people think, oh, people think you're just going to flip this switch. And I just really want to validate the people that this is going to be, if you've never done it before and you decide to start, it's a struggle, it's work. It's something that you have to apply yourself to every single day. I'm talking about the people that have gone, that are actually, the point I've been trying to make the whole time about how, if you're going from hating your body to trying to accept or love your body, that it's a bit of a grind. It is something that you have to really
because you're already, you know, people say, oh, blah blah blah, have you tried the latest diet? And you're like, oh, blah blah, I'll see, blah blah blah, and now you have to turn around and go, yeah, I'm not doing that shit no more.
But you don't. But no, but actually, I want to say this because this actually matters. You don't. You might find yourself, and I still sometimes find myself in. I've sometimes find myself in social situations not wanting to do battle and just going, you know what, I'm just gonna nod and smile for now. And
sometimes, well, I do that too. Sometimes it's like, but I also remember it's like, yeah, they can do this all they want.
Yeah,
they don't know me. They don't know me, and they're not living in my body. And fuck them.
Thank you for the reminder to breathe. I know I get so worked up, and poor Peggy is like, I'm just trying to be a part of the conversation.
I will just say it here and say fuck him every few minutes and let you go. Just wind her up and let her go.
It's pretty fun to wind me up.
No, it is a process.
You can tell how excited I get because my hands just are everywhere.
But you know what? Okay. This is something I do get. It is a process. I have people trying to, like, not so much now that I work in my pajamas, but yeah, blah, 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 blah. Oh, blah, blah. Have you tried this? You know, I get people that try to talk to me about diets, try to talk to me about, people don't really talk to me about hair products.
What? Really? Nobody's
Really?
talking to you about the latest, like, hairspray?
But the thing is that, yeah, I've had people try to talk to me about various things. I'm like, yeah, I don't do that shit. And it's like, what? Yeah, I don't do that shit. I just save my money. Thanks. It's like, you know, it's like now that I've got now that I'm old and doing.
Now that you're old, honey, you've been old for a long
Now
time.
that I'm old, but like my doctor,
She totally missed it.
okay, I have type 2 diabetes. That is,
you are so borderline.
Borderline.
I was just gonna say.
Okay. The threshold for type 2, the threshold is like 7, a measurement of 7 on the standard that they use here, and I'm like slightly under.
Yeah.
Just enough that I need one little. It's. I don't want to do the medical. Here's all my drugs and pills because that's just ridiculous.
More mature.
But anyway, so
you're leaning that way. Bring your pillow in.
Okay, let me start over because there's a story. It turns out that there's new research that shows there are 5 different kinds of diabetes. There's type 1 diabetes, and then there's 4 different kinds of type 2 diabetes, one of which is menopause related. And they're just coming out with the studies now. So I'm listening to my doctor, who obviously doesn't know about the new research, and every single time I see her, it's like, well, type 2 diabetes is caused by obesity. And I'm like, well, you know what? It's also caused by menopause, because that's when most women with diabetes, anyway, they've discovered all this stuff, and the research is there. Look it up. Look it up. The types of diabetes, and it's Diabetes Association is talking about it now. It's turning into some big fucking news.
Yeah.
But my doctor is like, oh, blah, 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 and don't forget, you need to lose some weight because, this is what causes it. And it's like, no, it's not. Do you want to talk to a dietitian? No. I don't need a dietitian. I just, give me that one little fucking pill to keep me from going over the threshold, and we're good.
And this is a bit of a rabbit
standard dose is 4 pills. I take one, it's not big. But the thing is that you're going to hear it, and it's normal. And I just have to go, okay, consider the source.
You still have to use some discernment to figure out for yourself what matters and what doesn't matter, and what you need to work on. I will tell you that regardless, the thing that people don't talk about, and this is one of the things
most of the people I know with type 2 diabetes are thin. Sorry to say.
The thing that more recent studies are starting to show is that, let's use diabetes as an example just for the sake of the discussion.
I have some math.
Okay, but I'm talking.
I don't
care. So you got to wait.
No.
Yes. Anyway, the thing about this is that there's actually research now that shows that certain lifestyle changes, certain choices that you can make can improve your numbers, whether it's diabetes, blood cholesterol, etc., regardless of the physical.
But your weight doesn't matter.
Hold on. Regardless of the physical body fat on your body. That's what I was literally saying.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like you can make, this is what I was talking about in the video. You can improve a lot of those things regardless of your weight. And we often think that the weight comes first and everything else comes after.
Well, when they first said, okay, here's your numbers. You're not over the threshold yet, but you really should think about this, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yeah. So basically you're testing your sugar every 5 fucking minutes. Oh my God, they said the D word. Now I have to test my sugar every 5 minutes. I got better results after being active than I ever did I can't just sit around and eat chocolate all fucking day as much as I'd like to because I have a sweet tooth.
Yeah, you need to be mindful of how much sugar you consume.
I could completely, but here's the thing. If I was having a really bad day in terms of what I was eating, but I was active that day, my numbers were the exact same as if I had just nibbled on lettuce all fucking day.
I would challenge you, Nikki. All I'm going to say is I will challenge you to say, sometimes the things that will improve your body have more to do with getting stability around your joints with increased muscle mass and doing things that are physically going to help you from the inside out before focusing purely on weight loss.
Yes, I've been told to go home and worry. I've been told to go home and worry about my weight without any advice whatsoever on how to maintain my strength.
When we talk about aches and pains, let's talk for a second. I'm just going to reel this in to have a really weird, I want to make a really kind of obscure point. So it's going to be a little roundabout. Bear with me. Large, tall, heavy men, I'm just going to use this example for a second. They can weigh 300 pounds and yet have a very low body fat percentage. With that being the case, logically, the stress on their joints should be exactly the same as somebody who is shorter, who has body fat adding to the stress on their joints. So I would challenge everybody to just consider for a second that how you protect and stabilize the joints in your body and the places that you might have pain and aches has a heck of a lot more to do with how mobile and active you are and how much muscle mass and strength you have than it has to do with how much fat is on your body. And we tend to oversimplify these problems. sometimes doctors are very quick to say, if you lose weight, everything will get better. Your knees will hurt
I
less.
get told that all the fucking time, and it's the biggest fucking lie ever.
Truth is that for most of us, if we have joint pain, increasing our strength and stabilizing that joint with soft tissue, not soft tissue. Why am I blanking on the term? Oh my God, I'm such an anatomy geek. Yeah, but muscular strength and stability is the biggest thing we need to focus on. You might actually gain weight when you increase your joint stability because you add muscle mass. So taking care of your body for the sake of health has a heck of a lot more to do with the structures inside your body and how they're functioning than it has to do.
Our personal experience.
Yes, thank you. Disclaimers are so important.
We need to start doing that at the very beginning of each chat.
Yeah. Barb Girl's like, you guys need a talking stick. Well, she said talking stick, laughing face.
I need beating you with it. Like, come on.
So, sorry, my nose is itching. Yes, strength training. Yeah, exactly. But you can bring your
get out and take a 5-minute walk.
But that's the thing. Like, yes, so improving your strength. So this is what I've learned through anatomy studies that I've dived into. Now, keep in mind, I've dived into anatomy from the perspective. I've dived into anatomy from the perspective of a yoga teacher, not necessarily from the perspective of a doctor. But so please take everything with a grain of salt. But the way that our body structures work, if you can increase your activity, your strength, your mobility, when you move more, your joints improve regardless of any drop in body weight. And I say this as somebody who has had joint pain, who has had aches and pains, and those things have been improved by being more active. The only solution seems to be losing weight or walk through the pain and keep on walking. Maybe walking isn't the thing that's serving you right now. Maybe there's a different activity. For a while, I did elliptical machines. Walk. Yeah.
I can't do excessive walking because it creates a jolt. It creates impact into your knees and really fucks. I can get out and take a walk. But if I decide that I'm going to walk for 2 hours a day, I'll fuck myself. Every single doctor, without fail, will tell you to lose weight before they will tell you to become more active.
Peggy is 100% true. Losing weight is the easy. Yeah, what Peggy just said is that most doctors will tell you to lose weight before talking about any strategies for how to actually improve your situation.
They'll say lose weight, join a gym. They will not say, hey, do you have any trails near your place? Maybe a nice little soft, gentle hike once or twice a week.
Yeah, because walking on dirt is lower impact than walking on concrete. Yeah, it's better for your joints.
They won't say like, look, do you have a community pool nearby? Maybe go for a swim once in a while.
Yeah.
They won't say, hey, there's some yoga videos out there that are really gentle and easy to do.
Yeah.
They'll say join hot yoga. They'll say join a gym. I have never once. I started my. When I first started with my knee, basically, when I first started with my knee, it's growing pains. Don't worry about it. Nobody took it seriously. Now, everybody was fine, and then I had the kids and started gaining weight. From that moment onwards, every single piece of advice I was ever given was, well, you'll feel better if you lose the weight. You'll feel better if you lose the weight. Not once. And Stephen's 25 now. I
don't know if he got a lot or not.
I don't know. She took most of it. Okay. Not once in the 25 years. Well, Steven's 25 now, a year, John's 27, so I guess since before the kids were born, not once have every single time without fail, you'll feel better if you lose the weight. Not once, regardless of what level of medical professional or experienced person I'm talking to, not once have I been said, hey, if you strengthen the muscles and get a little bit more active, you'll gain some stability and feel better that way. Not once have I been told to And every single time the suggestion to exercise has come up, on those rare occasions, it's like, well, if you join a gym, you'll join a gym and get stronger. It's you'll join a gym and lose weight.
Okay, first of all, I want to drag us back to comments because that was super important to tell that story. So I don't want to. But Nikki, and there's some conversation happening in chat. So I just want to say a couple things. If you guys need or want suggestions or tips on non-weight bearing or things that are good for your body, I have that advice coming out of my ears. So feel free to message me privately. But yeah, Nikki, some people have talked about swimming. Yes, there's things you can do.
But we're not allowed to because we're fat.
Please stop for a second. I know, I love you.
Like,
but you're right. That's actually the point. Yeah, we feel ashamed. We feel this, we feel that. That's all valid. If you want tips on some movement stuff you can do regardless of what's happening in your body, seriously, there are so many different things you can explore, even in private. There are so many things you can explore that can work with the areas you have pain or you're sensitive. There are so many options that help get us mobile. And sometimes you only need that initial little burst of something to get going. And somebody else said, yeah, there's nothing wrong with wanting to lose weight.
No, nothing wrong with
feel
it, but do it for yourself, but not because somebody else told you that you should.
Yeah, and I feel pretty passionately about the idea that be reasonable about your expectations, because for most bodies, anything more than about a 5 to 10% change is almost impossible to maintain long term. So keep yourself realistic and don't worry so much.
But now you're giving weight loss tips, and it's like, at the end of the day, start with fuck them. Don't be doing.
Not everybody can start with fuck them though, and you can't. It's good, but at the same time, not everybody can start there. Sometimes people need to start with.
But it's not even fuck them. I'm not going to lose weight. It's fuck them. You don't have the right to fucking judge me, no matter what the fuck I'm doing.
Well, exactly, totally.
If I'm a shitty person, judge me on that. Don't judge me on how big my gut is. That's just superficial and ridiculous.
What's TBG? I totally missed it.
Yeah, swimming is the single best. If you have a joint or mobility issue, swimming is the single best exercise that you can do in the history of pretty much forever, because it's zero.
And you know what?
It's mobility without impact.
And if you feel more comfortable going to the pool with a pair of shorts and a t-shirt over your damn bathing suit, do it. Make yourself feel comfortable however you need to feel comfortable.
Okay, okay, Nikki. Here's an interesting thought that you might want to stew on a little bit. You're holding yourself from doing this and succeeding because you're used to not feeling happy or good. Well, if you already feel not happy or good, feel not happy and good in a bathing suit while you're doing the thing that's going to make you feel good.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways you can explore this, and I'm kind of. I have a very particular viewpoint on this. That is my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. So fuck them. But
exactly.
I do have a very particular viewpoint about this stuff, and everybody's gonna have their own viewpoint, and everybody's gonna have their own perspective. Do your own research.
A diet. Okay,
right?
like when I was again back to the type 2, and I'm borderline, right? First thing I did, I don't have
diabetes, right?
Diabetes, yeah. borderline diabetic, type 2 diabetic, blah 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 blah. Honestly, okay, what I just take some time to think about it. This is the first step. The first step is always in your head. If this is something you like doing and it makes you feel better, okay, you already feel bad, you already feel self-conscious, you already feel all these things, feel it. It's like, okay, so the only thing that's changing is that you're in a bathing suit feeling bad and feeling self-conscious, but now you might feel a little bit better physically, getting some movement in. It's something to think about. And again, I can sit here and say, fuck them every day, all day. Everybody has to have their own starting point. And that might be, we all live in our heads.
Of course we all live in our heads. And Kay says, and Christine's made some good points too. Everybody's got their own, your health, your weight, how you're going to approach all of this stuff is 1,000% your business and 0% anybody else's business,
0%
including
mine.
Ours. So just because we're talking on our soapbox about this and that and the other doesn't mean that that's true or right for everybody else.
I know, well, that's true.
Your health is your business. But how you choose to approach it, your business. All of that is so true.
Just remember, you don't have to jump neck deep into extreme solutions right this minute. But
meet yourself where you are.
Yeah,
sure.
Time Nexus joined a senior water strength and aerobic class that was amazing.
There are some, I actually found some people or ran into some people that did those classes regularly, and they were like the most jovial, like happy, positive people I think I'd ever encountered. They were super comfortable with themselves. They're like, whatever, we're just doing this so that we can feel better.
Yeah.
And it was great.
But there is
absolutely, Nikki, go for it.
The first process is to just give yourself permission to think about it, for starters.
Yeah.
I can't think about that because it's like, give yourself permission to think about it. It's like, well, I already feel self-conscious. I already feel all these negative things. I might feel a little bit more negative about myself than usual while I'm doing the thing, but I know that it's good for me.
Does yoga work? White Dragon Flame asks. I don't know what you mean. Yoga can
hot yoga is the best way to hurt yourself.
Stop.
I hate hot
yoga in general. If you have a good teacher that knows their anatomy and their alignment, yoga is wonderful for physical strength. Thank you.
That makes just snippy. That makes absolute sense. That there's a certain psychology process that goes along with aging, and it's like, yeah.
Real quick, back to yoga though, because somebody did ask a question that I was answering. It improves strength, it improves balance, it improves poise, it improves range of motion. There's a lot of things that yoga is very, very great for. But when you say does it work, I don't really fully know what you mean.
Yoga as it's done in North America is pretty much like we've got hot yoga, intense yoga, aerobic yoga. Basically now it's being used as some sort of a get fit exercise thing. So there's very little of what you do for yoga.
Fair enough. What I would recommend if you want to do yoga for the wonderful benefits and focus on the overall experience, look up a hatha yoga class.
Or yin. Yin's good.
Oh, I was wearing my pendant from the June Witch's Moon in my premiere video. And this is from the Witch's Moon too, this mala. I love everything I've been getting from my Witch's Moon boxes. Nikki, there's lesser pressure as well. Plus, I want to be healthy for me now, not to look sexier to get a dude. I don't care. I'm good on my own. Exactly. Like we do hit this point where it's a little easier.
And you know what? As you reach certain milestones in life, your degree of confidence changes, and the more confident you are, the less people are willing. The less people are going to say anything to you.
Yes, Heather, hit me up anytime. I'm happy to. Shayla would like more food because she's taking her plate.
Yeah.
To Steve.
Shayla has a process. You give her some food, you put her on a plate, and if she's still hungry, she'll pick up the plate, walk around, and hit somebody with it. He's just a little sad because he is a type 1 diabetic, so and because of the way it works with dogs, he has to be on a diet whether he wants one or not.
I have some pre-recorded classes I've done in the past on the Fat Yogini Facebook page, I think, and on the
Don't worry, Elle. We know
yoga
YouTube
channel.
We know Elle enough to know that Elle's. We know you're mouthy, not insulting.
You're kicking the camera, and
I'm kicking the camera. I'm sorry, I did, and you just kept talking. It was weird. You think it was your chat or something?
I'm gonna flip and murder you. Anyways. Yeah, so if you can look, there's also some really wonderful teachers who regularly
use the word fat around here all the time.
Oh my God,
Nikki.
let me answer this damn question.
Nah, you're fine.
Holy crap. Yes, you can find yoga online. I'll just keep it short because that's all I'm going to get to say. Oh, I did that just now to Amelia. I'm not calling you fat, just myself. Yeah, I use the word fat for myself all the time. And it's a very neutral word to me now. It didn't used to be. Yeah, absolutely, Elle. And thank you for clarifying. And Shayla wants more food. Can you
Yeah, I'm just gonna let her suffer.
Just let her suffer.
I just gave her a plate.
She's not finished.
I gave her a plate of chicken. She better be finished. It's you know what the negative.
Down right now. Lay down. No, that's enough.
Fat and the fear of fat.
You're just on doggy duty today. I'm sorry.
Fat and the fear of fat is a multi-billion-dollar industry. That's why.
You know
it is what it is.
Do you know when I reclaimed the word fat actually was because I found out that in sign language, words like fat or a similar word are actually used to just describe people in a neutral way, because in sign language, you need to say things succinctly. So that fat person over there is not considered impolite. It's literally a way to say that person over there so that you knew who I was talking about. When I found that out, I was like, that's how it should be. This word should not mean all of these other things. And the moment I encountered that information, I was like, this is what I'm doing. Hi, Keith. So yeah, I think part 2 or 3. I know it's such a huge topic, but this is what the book is for.
It's a culture.
I get to just kind of go full bore on it.
There you go. Sign language and deaf culture. It's like they don't stigmatize that word, so therefore it's not a stigma.
Shayla's like, what is this crap you just gave me? You can give her that milk too if you want.
I'll figure it out, Lauren. I can do this.
I'm helping. I know. I'm in such a weird space. My whole immediate.
How come when you help me, I don't yell at you?
Oh, because I'm a jerk.
When I'm helping you. You tell me to shut up.
Yeah.
You're so mean.
I'm so mean. Amethyst Ascension. My whole immediate family's on the larger side, and I would always say that we were storing up for the apocalypse. All the skinny people not ready. Giggles, just joking.
I say shit like that all the time.
Yeah.
It's like
if people would start taking selfies, exercising their brain, the world would be a prettier place. So fat would be really smart, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Honestly, it's
If you call yourself fat, it takes a lot of power away from those who would use it to insult you. Absolutely.
Honestly,
sure, Kay.
Fat should never have become something that was used to insult somebody else. Those kind of words, they don't matter. Like the funny thing is, this is a really weird visual that I get. Fat. If anybody remembers the Andy Griffith show, and you look back and you see the people there in the show. Andy Griffith, Andy Taylor.
We need to pick that up because she's not even.
No. He can have that. Bruno does get little snacks throughout the day. We just have to kind of do a mental calorie count as we go to make sure he's getting the right amount of insulin at the end of the day. So when you
That is perfect, Nikki. I'm sorry. Can I just say this? A hippo will always be a hippo and a flamingo a flamingo.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be a flamingo anymore or chase that image. I'm just a hippo and I want to be the fittest, most gorgeous hippo.
That's exactly how it should
amazing.
be. There's nothing wrong with saying I want good. There's nothing wrong with saying I want to be strong.
I love that. Sorry.
I want to be strong and I want to be healthy shouldn't be automatically assumed, oh, so that you can reach a weight goal.
Kay said, I just learned my cat Shadow has a brain tumor and it's caused him to go blind. Oh, I'm so
it's too
sorry.
bad.
It's really hard when our fur babies go through things. It is so tough. It is so tough.
Just remember that they can animals, cats and dogs can function with being blind better than humans can.
Yvette says
they'll walk slow. They will just walk slower, and as long as you're not rearranging the house every 5 minutes, they'll figure it out.
Is this a cat or a dog? I missed it.
Cat.
A cat. I said it out loud and then I spaced. Yeah. Animal can adjust very well. There's probably even a Facebook group. There was for dogs. There was a Facebook group because Bruno went blind for a bit with his diabetes. There is, I believe, probably a Facebook group to help. What's up, Tim?
Oh, somebody just said they feel bad when people call them fat. And it's like, I don't feel bad when somebody calls me fat because I just look, it's like, you don't fucking know me, so fuck you.
I think it still feels okay. I'll be honest. I think when somebody says something shitty and calls me fat, it's still
oh, it's an insult and it's offensive and but see,
I was saying how I felt. Hold on.
Sorry, I'm offended, but I'm not hurt.
I feel that instant sting for a moment, even with all the work I've done. I really want to say this because I think it matters. You can be super far along on your body love journey, on your body acceptance journey, and it can still hurt.
Yeah, I never made my Andy Griffith reference.
I'm sorry, we'll get back there, but I'm still saying something.
We probably won't. It's fine.
You can still have that hurt, and then you can logic out because we have an emotional reaction, and then we can have a thought out reaction. And the initial reaction is often very instinctual and it's immediate, and it's like you can have that moment of ow, and then you can talk to yourself about it, talk yourself through it, and get to the place. And it might happen quickly or slowly, where you're like, yeah, I don't give a shit what this person thinks. They're an idiot. But it might take you a half second, or it might take you a minute, or it might take you an hour or a day. Yeah, exactly.
But practice it. Start practicing it because honestly, you're the only one who can live in your body is you.
It will be okay, Kay. There's so much support. Seriously, if you look it up on Facebook, there's probably a group with lots of tips. Animals, because they go more by their nose than by sight anyway. Guarantee you he'll probably be okay that way and be able to navigate. It's still tough, right? And of course, being more concerned about the tumor, that's really hard news.
Yeah, don't worry about the vision because, like I said, just don't rearrange your furniture a lot, and cats will figure it out. They'll move a little slower. They'll do whatever.
Like we don't want our pets to be ill.
We don't.
Andy Griffith. I need to start
my Andy Griffith reference. Something that always pops into my head when people start talking about, oh, you should be losing weight, you should be doing, and I always think of Aunt B.
Aunt B? Was she a character on the show?
She was a okay. Basically, Andy and his son Opie, mothers died because they're always a widow in those older shows. They're never divorced. And Aunt B lives with them and basically is the housekeeper, takes care of it, Opie, blah, 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 blah. Totally like very stereotypical arrangement that you would expect from back in like the 40s, right? Thing is that the thing that I remember, I remember Aunt B. What I remember about Aunt B is that if Aunt B would not be cast in that type of a show today because she was too fat. The actress who played Aunt B, and I'm not sure what the actress's name was a larger woman. She was just a big, hefty woman, not hugely, she was fat. She was fat. And she was presented as somebody that was respected, admired, whose advice, people were seeking her advice. They were, Aunt B was not ridiculed. Aunt B was not made fun of. Nothing about the character, nothing about Aunt B. Everybody loved Aunt B. And yet what occurred to me, this is something that came up because of a conversation like years and years ago. Aunt B would never have made it onto TV today. If Aunt B was going to be respected, she was going to be thin. If she was going to be considered attractive, because it was a few episodes where somebody wanted to, oh, you're Aunt B, she's a handsome woman, I would love to take her out to a movie. That does not happen. Larger women on TV today are not the intelligent ones. They are not they're not socially adept. There's awkward.
Some shift. What was that show that we loved?
It's starting to happen, but it's not common. It's very uncommon.
Hold on. Do you remember that?
Aunt B from the Andy Griffith Show.
Do you remember that show that where like a thinner, aesthetically beautiful, whatever by society standards woman switched bodies with a larger woman. I loved that show so much. What was that show? Oh my god, there were multiple seasons of it, and it was so freaking good.
Oh! It was a Netflix one.
Was it?
Yes, it was a Netflix one. There is a Netflix.
I don't think it was a Netflix show.
Well, we can look it up.
My god, it was so good, and
we will look it up and link this because it was a really interesting show. It was about a woman who died. A woman.
She was a lawyer.
Yeah,
she got switched with somebody who was a lawyer's body. Oh my gosh, I have to Google this right now.
You don't. Anyway,
no, you. But the thing is, I can actually let you talk for a minute.
TV back in the 40s, you see this bigger, hefty woman show up. Aunt B is like the pinnacle because she was in a regular series. But the thing is that we have changed our thoughts and ideas on what constitutes beauty, but we've linked physical appearance with personality in a way that is very, very unhealthy. Aunt B was like, Aunt B was like this awesome lady that everybody respected.
Drop Dead Diva.
Drop Dead.
Oh my god, thank you guys. I don't know why I even bothered to Google. You guys are amazing.
Look up Drop Dead Diva, and it's really
Drop Dead Diva was
it's an education on body positivity.
It also is a bit of an education on body size stigma and some of the stuff that comes up, which is really interesting.
And because you've got this. Yeah,
I had high hopes really for good. This Is Us, but it went in a weird direction. I stopped watching, but yeah, Drop Dead Diva is so.
Yeah, Ethel was considered fat. She was like 10 pounds heavier than Lucy. Actually, but the thing is that on a lot of these shows, showing a character that did not fit the stereotype for what was attractive at the time was incredibly common. Ethel may have been considered fat by those standards, but they had bigger. They had episodes
Christine's
where.
Such a good point. Sorry.
I'm gonna start over. I'm confusing myself because I'm trying to read.
Oh, I've done that.
Okay, so Aunt B is like a bit of a pinnacle. She's a main character. There were plenty of shows back then where the main character was a bigger woman, and basically, whether or not they cast a bigger woman, it had nothing to do with her personality, who she was, how much respect she had in the community. Nothing.
Yeah.
There was the bigger person was not okay. Like Ethel and Lucy. Ethel was considered fat because she was 10 pounds heavier than Lucy, but Ethel was also generally considered to be the more intelligent friend. That's not how it's portrayed now. In a lot of sitcoms and stuff like that now, the fat friend is often also the less intelligent friend.
I've actually found that
to not be true. It's starting to change.
No, I've actually found that to not be true. I've actually found sometimes the stereotype in TV is that you're either fat and smart,
but not attractive. The guys don't want to date you. Nobody's after you.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not working. You're not the high powered professional.
Yeah.
All these things don't. You're not like in I Love Lucy. If you remember, the Mertzes owned the building that they owned the building, and Lucy and they were the tenants. So they were financially successful. They were this. They were that. Fred was a big guy too.
You've lost me on all of these.
Okay. I'm making older TV show references. The thing is, back then, so basically this whole size and this whole idea of stigmatizing size and judging.
Yeah, funny but not sexy. Yes, Heather, that is
yes.
Oh, like the
fat women are allowed to be funny but not sexy. Back in the day, it didn't matter. Back in the day, you have
But back in the day, still, you didn't necessarily see larger women as that were necessarily shown as desirable, though.
Yes, you did.
Oh, really?
Now, don't forget desirability as a TV image. This is back in the day when. I
just like teasing Peggy about being old. That's all. Sorry, back in the day.
Back in the day, this is when Lucy and Ricky had separate beds.
Yeah.
So romantic things, it's like, oh, she's a handsome woman was an incredible compliment.
True.
And it usually referred to slightly older women. You have the buxom friend. It's like, oh, so my friend so and so has a lot of boyfriends or gets a lot of invitations to dance. So it wasn't quite so overtly sexualized.
Yeah.
So that's kind of something that happened too. But basically, you know what? Women judge women because we're trained to. Women judge women because we're trained to and because we're surrounded with social media that says that if we don't fit a certain standard, we're not worthwhile as a woman anyway.
Yeah.
And this is like,
oh, my nose is so itchy.
Turning women against each other is what helps drive this multi-billion-dollar makeup, weight loss, diet, fashion industry.
Yeah, and society's fault for sure.
It is society's fault.
We're trained to care about these things.
But
we're
this stigmatizing
to care about these things.
This whole stigmatizing a person, judging everything about a person, their intelligence, their character, their level of ability in every other aspect of their life, all of that is now directly tied to a person's weight. That is a very modern thing. It is a very new idea, and you don't have to reach back very far to see when, where, and how those changes started coming in. And when, where, and how those changes started coming in was with mass media and with manufacturers and businesses who had something to sell us, selling sex sells. Selling us on the idea that if you're too thin, wear this. If you're and now don't forget, being too thin was also considered a thing back then too.
Yeah.
It is now. It's like, oh, you're too thin. Eat a hamburger. Are you anorexic?
Yeah, that's so gross.
It doesn't matter.
Size shaming, regardless of where you are, is
no matter how normal a person's size or weight is. Normal being subjective. No matter how much we fit in with what society tells us is normal, there's still something else. Are you the perfect height? Are you the perfect weight? Do you do this? Okay, what kind of makeup are you wearing? Where did you buy your clothes? What gym do you belong to?
Yeah.
Where are you going on vacation? You can't go to the beach until you've got a six-pack. Now, not only do you have to be the right size, the right weight, the right shape, but you have to have a bathing suit body at all times, and it has to look like. If you're a guy, you have to look like Brad Pitt. If you're a woman, you have to look like whoever.
How to have a beach body? Go to the beach
and be a body.
Be a body. Yeah. How to have a bikini body? Put on a bikini. You now have a bikini body. We have been on for about an hour and a half, and we could talk about this all day.
We can recycle this one, because we could talk about this till the fucking cows come home, because like, for every one person like me who can go, yeah, just fuck you, there's like 1,000 other people who are like, absolutely, like. But I will tell you right now, it does not matter. And this whole idea that I'll be happy in 5 pounds is bullshit.
A lot of people who lose a significant amount of weight, once they lose that weight, realize just how much work they actually have to do on their body image, because it actually turns out that their self-worth and their struggles don't immediately go away when they reach a particular size or weight.
That
work still needs to happen.
If you don't feel worthy because of your size, then changing your size is just gonna, okay, now what else can I feel not worthy about?
Exactly.
Now what else can I feel not worthy about?
Point. So true.
And the minute you start feeling worthy, it's like, I'm worthy because I'm a decent fucking human being, and that is just the end of it for me. Everything else is just cosmetic. Appearance.
That's actually why the topic for me is so much.
I am just gonna mouth off like till the cows come home. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them.
But now stop.
I love you.
No, you don't. That is though why the conversation is about self-worth, not just body love, body acceptance. That's why the larger conversation, and what we're actually spending most of the time on this channel talking about, is what's happening beneath skin surface, because what's happening psychologically for us, emotionally for us, what's happening in the way we speak to ourselves, in the way we judge ourselves, that kind of stuff, how we relate to other people and how we let other people treat us, these things are all there regardless of what you look like. And I think that's why that's the biggest part of the discussion, because you can change your appearance, sure. But then if you haven't done any of the other work, you're literally no better off. And sometimes you're worse off.
Well, it doesn't, because we are literally surrounded. I will tell you right now, if you want to feel good about yourself, stop buying those freaking drugstore magazines and turn on and get rid of your cables. Don't watch TV. Take a month off of watching TV. Yeah. Read a book, do whatever. Take a month off. Don't watch TV for a month, and don't buy take a month off TV. Stop buying those fucking magazines.
Yeah.
Just step out of this constant marinating in garbage that we live in. And then I will tell you right now, you just take a short break from that stuff, and you will go back to it, and you go, oh my God, this is all about how being fat is gross. Oh my God, this is all about how not wearing the right makeup is gross. Oh my God, if I'm not wearing this dress, I'm what?
Yeah.
And you would not believe just how saturated we are
with. Hermit of the Moon. I'm sorry. I did a thing. But like, Hermit of the Moon just said, when people put off feeling good until they reach a goal, they're denying themselves the chance to be happy now.
That's right.
You guys, there's so much we all put off doing until we hit a certain size, reach a certain age, hit a certain milestone.
Yes.
Do it, whatever it is you want to do, please do it now. Please enjoy your life.
We're so glad that everybody's like this. We're supposed to be trying to say goodbye, and that was like 15 minutes ago. Are you doing the heart thing? Are we doing? I don't know how to do the heart thing.
You curl your fingers. You curl your fingers.
I do the fucking thing.
Okay, hold on.
Fuck them.
Can we teach Peggy to do this? Look,
No.
fingernails. Just try it. Fingernails together. All your fingernails, honey. No. Fingernails together, and then thumbs down. See? See? Did you do it? Let me see. Let me see your heart. Your heart. Oh yeah, that's a good heart. You need to round a little bit more right there. No.
Fuck
this is the church.
Fuck them. Love yourself.
Wait, what is the thing? This is the church. Here's the steeple.
Isn't that the RuPaul thing? If you don't love yourself, how you gonna?
How does that work? Do you remember?
This is.
Yeah, if you don't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love anybody else? I love
this
it.
Is oh no. This
Here's
is
the
the church. This is the steeple. Open the doors and see
Here's
all the people.
people.
And I'm pretty sure that Christian reference just fell flat. That's a Christian reference, and I don't think that. Wait, that's a Christian thing. Okay, you know what? That's that. I know there's a lot of people.
Can I get an amen up in here?
I have no problem with Christians and Christianity as long as they're
Oh,
not
well,
the
what are you
ones
doing for
as long as they
Christmas?
don't
Goodbye.
judge.
No new
Anyway.
soapboxes.
Bye, everybody. Don't just.
Hi.
You have the right to be happy now, not 5 pounds from now.
Yes.
And just keep that in mind.
Live your life.
Live your
right
life. Be
now.
you, and don't worry about them.
We love you guys. We'll talk to you
Sheila,
again soon.
what are you looking for?
Honey,
You want
say
more?
goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.